But we may be seeing the formulation of again and tactics from this training footage from Gervonta Davis.
Anybody that gets in the ring with Tank that is not a damn dinosaur is gonna feel something from it. And it ain't gonna be easy to hit it.
The boxing world is buzzing with tension after fresh training clips of Gervonta Davis surfaced, showing a jaw-dropping transformation that has fans and experts on edge. Heading into his bout with Jake Paul, Davis looks more powerful and explosive than ever. His physique bulked up, his strikes fierce and focused. This isn't the same Tank people once knew. This version looks like a ruthless force at his absolute best. With the footage sparking fear and fascination, it's clear. Jake Paul may be stepping into the ring with a beast. Davis has always been known for his viral knockouts and icy composure before unleashing violence, a silent storm in the ring. But this time, there's something different. In previous camps, he was all about finesse, speed, precision, slick footwork. Now he's packing on lean muscle and moving with a deadly purpose. The compact dynamo has evolved into a more menacing figure, one who's added raw strength to an already dangerous arsenal. Fans aren't just impressed, they're stunned.
My biggest fear, I don't never want to get embarrassed. You know?
What you mean? How would you get embarrassed?
As far as like me not doing my job, feel me? Like I'm not worrying about nobody else because I know skill for skill, none of these guys can mess with me. Nobody. I feel like my skills is way better than like Floyd. Like if I'm on my game, well, I take that right hand in hand. But skill-wise, nobody on TV that's fighting right now have more skills than me. Nobody. Like talking about top to bottom list of fighters that's fighting on TV.
So what that got to do with you being, I guess, embarrassing? Like, cause again, we see you make posts on a story like the fight not happening. Like,
cause I don't never want to like me not doing my job like all the way, like me not training all the way, me not, you know. So that's what made me like. So I was supposed to been in camp, you know, and I wasn't in camp, so it was me like, all right.
Oh, okay.
It pissed me off so bad that I was like, all right, I don't even want to fight anymore.
Chambers issued a stark warning. Jake Paul may have size and strength on his side, but he's up against a fighter whose speed, precision, and raw knockout power make him lethal regardless of weight class. Chambers didn't mince words. If you're not a killer in there, Davis will make you look ordinary. With people debating whether Jake's physicality can topple Tank's unmatched skill set, Chambers offered clarity. Size won't mean a thing if Davis gets even one clean shot.
That something like this can happen, but this is social media. This is what it's created. There's a lane that Jake Paul has created. Honestly, I'm not mad at him for it. He's gotten a lot of fighters and, you know, actual fighters some shine. It also has done for women's boxing a lot. So I'm not mad at him for what he's been in boxing, what he's created. This is a little crazy right here. This is a little crazy. And a lot of people will say, Tank is too small. Let me tell you something. Anybody that gets in the ring with Tank that is not a damn dinosaur is gonna feel something from it. And it ain't gonna be easy to hit it. Got boxing IQ. He may not sound like an intellectual guy when you hear him talk, but he knows the ring inside and out. So there's nothing that Jake Paul can do aside from make it extremely ugly by grabbing him and probably trying to throw him to the ground. I don't know what else, bite him. I don't know, but I mean, the skill level alone. Now, of course, there is a size difference, a height difference and all that, but he's just gonna struggle so much landing a shot. You know, it's just gonna look bad. To me, this is the way I see it. It's gonna look bad. Tank is gonna be too fast. And the punch, I believe, I'm not saying it's gonna knock him out or, you know, but he's gonna feel it.
Tank isn't just preparing for Jake Paul, he's sending a message loud and clear. Raw size means nothing without skill. In a chilling statement, he said he could take out a 300-pound man with zero fighting background. And coming from a fighter known for lightning-quick hands and explosive power, it's no bluff. He emphasized that boxing is about precision, not just strength. A heavier opponent might throw weight around, but Davis believes his timing, technique, and agility would make him untouchable.
What do you think is the minimum weight of someone that could beat you in a fight?
Minimum weight?
Yeah,
Right.
someone's like 250.
Yeah, probably like, 250, 220 or some shit like that.
With no experience?
All right, yes, sir.
Someone with no experience?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, hell no. They gotta have experience to beat me.
No, but like a 300 guy, no experience. You think you
I'm
can beat him?
whooping, I'm whooping that ass. I'm whooping that ass for sure.
Despite Davis's shocking physical transformation and fearsome training clips, critics argue that he's still too small to topple someone like Jake Paul. Tank, standing at 5'5", has spent most of his career at lightweight, a far cry from Jake's natural size. Detractors insist that no matter how jacked Davis appears, the laws of physics can't be ignored. They claim Jake's 190-pound frame can withstand punishment that Davis simply isn't built to deliver.
Suddenly, we want to know who will win in this fight, Jake Paul or Tank Davis. It's a legit question, and I actually want to really hear your thoughts on who do you think is going to win, because I know what Vegas is saying, but I want to know what you think. You got
Personally, I think Tank too little, bro.
Yo,
I think Tank too little.
I'm so glad you have a brain on your fucking shoulder.
I think Tank too little.
I said, bro.
I think Tank's too little. That's what I'm saying. That weight class is for a reason.
Davis
That weight class is for a reason.
5'5", 135 pounds. Jake Paul is 6 feet, 205 pounds.
That's what I'm saying.
Bro.
He's too
6'1",
little.
205. Everybody's like, yeah, bro, but Tank it only takes one good punch. Yes, it takes one good punch when you're about the same size. There's a 60, 70 pound difference in weight in these people. I don't think nobody puts the physics in mind. Jake Paul gets punched in the face by dudes 200 pounds with all their might on a weekly basis. 135 pound puncher, bro. If y'all remember the Mayweather versus Conor McGregor fight, Conor walks around like 180 on the regular. He's like 5'9", 180. Mayweather's like 5'7", 145. That 30 pound difference, bro. If you remember that fight, Mayweather was putting mittens on Conor. Guess what happened to Conor? He didn't hit the ground once.
No.
He lasted all 12 rounds getting hit with flurries. I'm talking about Mayweather was having his time. He's being cocky with it, hitting him with all kind of combos. And we're watching the last 3 rounds of that shit like, yo, knock him out. And you know what? He could not knock him out because Conor gets punched by people that are 170, 180 pounds on a regular. And just that 20, 30 pound difference, it was like impossible for him to do anything. And that's exactly what I feel like is gonna happen versus Jake and Tank.
Fans are drawing parallels between the upcoming Davis versus Paul fight and the legendary Logan Paul versus Floyd Mayweather showdown, another classic collision of bulk versus brilliance. Just like Floyd, Davis brings experience, technique, and ring IQ. Meanwhile, Jake mirrors his brother, counting on aggression, power, and size. In Logan's case, the massive weight gap helped him stay on his feet, but Mayweather's precision controlled the fight. Could history be repeating?
Paul Tank Davis fight got moved to Miami.
I think Jake wins.
Jake's just so big, dude.
I think Jake wins.
This is different because it's similar. It's similar to Logan versus Mayweather, but Jake Paul now obviously is way more advanced than where Logan was at that moment in time.
I mean, it's just fucking sick.
I mean, yeah, no, but dude,
Did
Jake.
you ever watch his highlights?
Jake can crack,
nasty,
man.
He's so sick. I love that guy.
Boxing expert Aid Oladipo weighed in with a strong critique. This matchup, he says, is happening too soon. Unlike Mayweather and Logan, who clashed in the twilight of their careers, both Davis and Jake are in their athletic prime. To Oladipo, the fight feels more like a media circus than a meaningful career step. He argues this spectacle could sidetrack both fighters from pursuing legacy-defining bouts, turning a golden era into a distraction.
Whether you agree with it or not, Gervonta is considered the #1 lightweight in the world. And it's a division that includes Shakur Stevenson, a lot of young guns coming up. I'm not any more sure if it's going to include Keyshawn Davis, but it's a hot division. He's considered #1 in that division. Like, that's why I kind of find this a bit, don't know. Like, there are challenges out there for Gervonta. There are big money fights out there for Gervonta. We want to see Gervonta in those fights. Again, I don't know how many fights people want to see AJ in, just to make the AJ Jake Paul comparison. One, as far as I'm concerned, that was Tyson Fury. I don't really have any interest in seeing an AJ in any other more fights. Whereas Gervonta Davis, I wanted and still do want to see him in so many more fights. So yeah, it's kind of weird. These exhibition things are, like, really and truly, they should all be when your career's done. Like, when you think of Floyd versus Logan Paul, it's done, right? Floyd versus Conor, did he have one more after, or was that it? I can't even remember. But it was right at the end, it was done, right at the end, even if it wasn't, right at the end. These guys having these exhibition fights in between what is the peak of their career is kind of weird for me.
Very, very weird. And then it isn't even comparable to Ngannou Fury, because at least these guys were the same size. Like Jake Paul is a 215, 220 pound guy. I don't know what he walks around at. Gervonta fights at 135. Guessing he walks around about 155.
At the press conference, Jake Paul leaned into his physical edge, highlighting his superior height, reach, and mass. He noted that Davis's preference for close-range attacks could leave him vulnerable to long-range bombs. Still, Jake kept his tone measured, admitting that even if he wins, it won't instantly crown him an elite fighter. Instead, he framed this bout as part of a larger journey, a test against real talent, not a shortcut to the top. Strategic, grounded, and subtly confident, Jake's message was clear. He's here to prove, not pretend.
I would say a lot of things, but I think first and foremost is going to just be my reach, my size, being able to keep him away. I think there's a lot of holes in his defense that a lot of people haven't exposed before, and he's a great fighter, one of the best. I'm excited. He's elevating me to a new height. He's making me push myself to my limits. I'm more locked in than ever, but at the end of the day, I know I'm going to be able to come out on top and outbox the guy who's been doing it for 7 times as long as me.
Jake just said that Tank has been boxing for 7 times as long as Jake has been boxing. They started out this press conference by saying Jake started boxing 5 years ago. So 7 times 5 is 35. Tank is what, 30?
Jake didn't hold back when speaking on Davis, boldly declaring that if he saw Tank in the street, he'd flip him upside down. Brimming with bravado, he dismissed Davis's knockout legend, insisting that he's too tough to be intimidated by someone so small. His comments blew up online, fueling the already boiling rivalry. While Davis stays locked in on training, Jake continues to talk with fearless swagger, claiming his size and strength will crush Davis's precision. The tension is electric, and fans are itching to see who backs up the talk when fists start flying.
The 5'8" little peon. If we were in the streets, I would grab that little ginger and smack him upside the head and make him forget who the fuck he was. People don't realize I'm a real killer. I really fucking do this shit. YouTube this, YouTube that, Disney that. This shit is not a joke. I'm knocking out the best of the best, beating all of these people time in and time again. And it's about time that you old heads and all these fucking boxers who think they know about the sport put some respect on my name.
The massive size difference between Davis and Paul has raised eyebrows and concerns. Davis usually competes at around 135 to 140 pounds, while Jake could tip the scales at over 210 pounds on fight night after rehydrating from the 195-pound catch weight. That's a near 70-pound gap, the kind usually seen between entirely different weight classes. Critics worry about fairness and safety, but some look to history going where, on rare occasions, skill has overcome size.
He's a tiny man, 5'5", and I reckon his in the ring weight is somewhere around 145 to 150 pounds. Meanwhile, Jake Paul is around 6 foot. We're not quite sure. I think he says he's 6'1" or 6'2". I've heard other people saying I think he's closer to 5'11", 6 foot. But the point is he's a much, much taller man. And in the Mike Tyson fight, he was over 220 pounds. So the size difference is massive. This fight's been made at 195-pound catch weight. But after Jake's rehydrated, assuming there's no rehydration clause, which I don't believe there is, he'll probably weigh around 215 pounds in the ring. That means there's a sort of a 60 to 70-pound difference between the two men in the ring on fight night, which is absolutely enormous. There are weight classes for a reason in boxing, and this is the sort of thing that is typically not allowed or permitted. And like I said in my intro, it goes to the heart of that key question in boxing, which is how big is too big? It's the reason that the pound for pound list exists, where we kind of imagine if everybody was the same size, who's the best, who's number one? And it's a debate that rages on and on and on. And so when I see a fight like this, I think the hardcore boxing fans, generally speaking, have felt frustrated by it. Yes, because we want Gervonta Davis as part of the actual sport, competing for world titles against the other elite guys in his weight class. But also because if he gets knocked out and loses to Jake Paul, it creates this illusion that Jake Paul's much better than he actually is. And so I guess the question for me is, can Gervonta Davis beat Jake Paul, or will Jake Paul simply be too massive? Can Jake Paul use his size, or will Gervonta Davis simply be too skilled? What's the answer here? And in trying to answer this, I looked to history. And there's one fight that immediately popped out of my mind, and I thought, I wonder what the size difference was there. In fact, it may even be more significant. And it was, and the small guy won. Some of you might be thinking about it right now. It's when David Haye took on the monster, the absolutely ginormous human being, Nikolai Valuev. I think it took place around 2009. So at the time, I was literally a teenager. I didn't have a clue what I was looking at, and I'd fully bought into this David versus Goliath story. But I think it's an excellent example here to draw comparisons between the Gervonta Davis-Jake Paul fight to try and understand whether or not this is a good template and blueprint to try and predict and understand what the size difference might look like in the ring. Now, David Haye was 6'3" and was 217 pounds for the Valuev fight.
Such moment came in 2009, when David Haye, much lighter and shorter, outboxed the towering Nikolai Valuev, a 7', 316-pound heavyweight. Despite the odds, Haye's agility, timing, and clever movement earned him the win. It's a modern-day David versus Goliath moment that echoes through the Davis versus Paul narrative. A reminder that even when the scales are imbalanced, elite skill can tip the outcome.
This means that the weight gap was just a tiny bit under 100 pounds, which is obviously 40 pounds more, 35 pounds more than the gap between Davis and Paul. And there was a 9-inch gap in their height versus what seems to be a 7-inch height gap between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. And if you go back and watch that fight, David Haye wins it fairly comfortably. He uses his speed, his power, he moves around the outside of the ring and comprehensively outboxes Valuev, even hurting him at one point in the fight. I remember getting so excited seeing it and thinking, God, he's actually managed to wobble the giant. This is ridiculous. And so on the surface, that was a bigger gap, a harder fight for David Haye than Gervonta Davis might find Jake Paul as an opponent. The size gap was significantly bigger. And Nikolai Valuev was a guy who won over 50 fights. You know, this was an actual competitive heavyweight boxer who'd beaten some decent names.
Streamer Aiden Ross is backing Jake Paul with full confidence, claiming anyone doubting him just doesn't understand the sport. Ross believes Jake has been evolving with every bout and now has what it takes to challenge a legitimate champion. He brushed off critics who still label Jake as a YouTube personality, not a real fighter. And in a move to silence whispers about performance-enhancing drugs, Jake revealed he's passed all USADA testing. No excuses, he said, determined to prove his rise is based on grind, not shortcuts.
For all of you Karens who accuse me of being on steroids as the reason for winning all of my fights, we have the strictest drug testing possible for this match. U.S. Anti-Doping Agency. Random drug tests at any moment. Oh look, they're here now.
Hey, USADA, be in the car. Looking good. See if you're on steroids. Clean as a whistle, contrary to what they say.
Analysts agree, this fight isn't just about boxing. It's a pop culture earthquake. With Jake Paul's internet stardom clashing against Davis's elite pedigree, the spectacle crosses boundaries and draws in audiences beyond the sport. It's not just about who wins in the ring. It's about proving that in today's boxing world, fame and fighting prowess can exist side by side and still shake the game.
You know what I mean? Especially Tank been talking about retiring, so why not get the bag and then go about your business if that's your plan? I mean, if that's your plan to retire, then go get the bag and go about your business. You ain't doing nothing wrong. I'm not against it.
You got some people that are very critical, Tank. Does it make sense depending on what you're in boxing for? Because you got some people that want to fight the best. You got some people that want the accolades, the belts, you know, the undisputed. And you got some people that just came in this game like, look, I'm trying to get my family out of poverty and give us generational wealth. Does it all depend on what you decided to box for?
Well, I mean, Tank accomplished a lot at a young age.
So now the ultimate question looms. Will Davis's razor-sharp skills and punching power dismantle Jake's size and swagger? Or will Jake defy the odds once again and shock the world? Let us know your take in the comments. This is one fight no one wants to miss.